Let us move on to imaginative play, because yes, we are going to be talking to them about all things, but when we're not talking to them and they're playing on their own, how important is it for kids to learn that independent play?
Well, it is, and children are learning so much when they play, and parents, this is not about, flashcards. This is about open and unstructured play. Sometimes children just need to be let loose and let them play on their own. Sometimes it's nice to play with them because they love that. Sometimes it's having a box in the cupboard, over there where you can dress up and make believe, uninhibited. But they're learning to share, they're learning leadership, they're learning cooperation, they're developing their language. So much involved in play. I've written so much about the importance of play, and it is about not just pushing them through. Certainly at school, it gets sidelined a bit more. And I was talking to somebody yesterday about outdoor play and the importance of outdoor play. It is such a wonderful thing to allow your children just to have unstructured play.
Muppet Babies is such a great show in that all the characters are different, all the characters are going off on different adventures. I kind of want to sort of sometimes drop my kids down into an episode just to kind of get involved because I think it's important. But lots of mums, because my sons are 1 and 3, lots of mums with kids our age think that they need to give them the new toy all the time, the new gadget, the new game. What's the right balance? Should we be giving them the new stuff or encouraging them to be imaginative?
A balance, isn't it? It's about, and also a load of toys are very sort of plastic all the time. So all that you're touching all the time is plastic and things, which is not good for the environment. But it's a balancing act about free play, structured play, and just having an adventure to be creative for no apparent reason, with no end in mind when you play.
I totally agree with this. I think it's but you see it with children. They're not that obsessed with toys. Sometimes you get them something new and they're playing with the box. Or like when we did my son's birthday, when he turned 2, we told people to not bring really many presents. But then even when they did, when he had opened one, he was having fun with this and the box, and then he didn't care about opening the rest. So it's all about definitely developing imagination. Like when I was younger, I used to always make up stories with my with my dolls or with my stuffed animals, and we really encourage to do that with Hugo. My husband is great with that. Like all of the stuffed toys have weird names. There's wobbly head Ted, and there's he has a wobbly head, and then they all have different voices and different characters. And I think it's great. He has so much imagination.
So you're clearly very creative. Is that something that you'll work on with Hugo? You'll kind of think, right, we need to. It's almost like it's practicing a skill.
Well, I guess for me, I definitely have to do that, especially that we are, I'm French and I'm only speaking French to my child, but he goes to nursery full time. My husband is British, so I need to get my French in. So you can't really do that with just playing toys or on the iPad or anything. So I like to just create games and stories with him and just go off so I can say as many French words as I can, and then explain to him what they mean.
And with toys, it's quite nice. I used to rotate my kids' toys because they get spoiled at Christmas with grandmas and everything. And I used to put them in boxes and put them out of sight, and then you can bring them down again, and it was all oh look, this is I haven't seen this for ages. So that stimulates another load of play, and they're a bit older, they might do something else with it this time. And it is about just enjoying that whole thing. And if you're creative and you use different voices and you play with them, children just pick that up, don't they?
Exactly.
There will be lots of parents, and mums have said it to me, whenever we're in the park, me and my kids do this thing where we pretend to be different animals. So we're who's a bird? And the baby loves to be a penguin and stuff. But my friend will often say to me, I'm no good at those kind of games. I can't really do that. For people who haven't got crackers brains, how do we encourage them? What are some simple things to bring imaginative play into their lives?
Well, it's interesting. There are loads of things online, aren't there, where people have activities and you can join clubs on, or Facebook and places like that will give you ideas. But I don't think you need to worry. Just with creative, playing with them, cooking with them, baking with them, weighing out stuff when you're cooking, when you're shopping, weigh the bananas. There's all sorts of things that you can actually do that's creative with them. That doesn't mean it's beautiful and perfect and has to be up on the wall. Creativity is just expressing yourself and allowing yourself to have a go at something, whether that's painting or cooking or baking.
I totally agree, because I used to feel kind of insecure about that before, because my husband is very silly. He's really fun, and my son always has the giggles with him, and I'm not so good at doing that. But then when I've realized it's okay, my husband is the way he is, and then I also have my own things to bring. So the way to kind of like lose control is like through painting, I don't mind, like getting messy. So we're always putting our hands in things, and doing painting and reading books where you kind of make up the whole story. And so there's different ways. I totally understand your friend, sometimes it's
some people
hard
it's just
to
not their thing,
complete.
isn't it?
Yes, exactly. So it's nice to even, if you have, when they say takes a village, if the rest of the village helps you with your children, like they all bring something like that. So you can see what can each other bring. And but like creative is a very loose word, and people don't realize creative is so many things.
Exactly, as you both say, in a medical environment, it's all very serious. It's all very non-creative in certain ways. And then you have children come into a very medical environment, and you have to make things creative. So a simple piece of gauze or a simple swab can become a different object. And that's kind of the way that we use, the tools we use to engage with children, to ask them to allow us to examine them, allow us to give them medication. And if you go to a children's ward, you will see the creativity that surrounds kind of childhood or children's medicine. So exactly, and that is giving them the freedom and the brain space to develop a simple, mundane object, which would be to you and I, but to them could be something completely different.
I curse and salute the doctor who told my son that those wrap bandages were Spider-Man's webs, because every time we see them, I now have to buy a box. And my house is full of them and they get thrown at you. Ladies, thank you so much for your company, and I'm sure that people will have got lots out of this edition of Disney Junior's Parenting Hacks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.